If the idea of renting an RV seems scary to you, let me tell you this, it's not as complicated as it looks. I spent 3 months traveling around America in an RV, and I'm sharing what I learned to help other people who are curious but don't know where to start. I had so many messages from people on TikTok who were wanting to do a trip like this, but they didn't know where to start, the logistics, like how do you rent an RV if you're not American? So this video is just an honest review about what renting an RV was actually like. My husband and I rented our RV through Monte, and I'm only going to talk about them because that's who we personally used. One of the biggest things for us was that they do cater to foreigners, which a lot of companies don't. So I found that they were the best ones. With El Monte, the process was very straightforward. So you can pick up in one place and then you can drop it off in another place. Super simple. So we picked up in Los Angeles and then we dropped it off in Miami, Florida. So completely different ends of the country. But that's really handy because wherever you fly to, you pick it up. Wherever you want to fly from, you drop it off. So very, very straightforward. The actual rental process was very easy. There wasn't anything complicated or confusing about it. The only thing I will say is that allow yourself plenty of time for when you pick it up and drop it off, because there will be waiting times of a few hours. They have to do paperwork with you. They have to get the keys. They have to check over the RV. They have to do last minute checks. Sometimes they have other people who are delayed in the queue. So make sure that you have a good lunch or breakfast or dinner before you pick up the RV, or at least bring a packed lunch, because you might be sitting there for a few hours and they don't really have food or drink there. So it wasn't stressful. It was just slow. So just be aware of that. Now, this part is important. I didn't actually drive the RV, my husband did. I was very much the passenger princess, which I was totally fine with. The key thing to know is that he had never driven a big vehicle like this before. He has never driven a van or an RV, and he did just fine. So if he can do it, you can do it. America has wide roads. It's set up for larger vehicles. At home, he literally drives a small city car, as do I. So all the RVs are automatic. It makes it easier to drive. Even if you're on the motorway, I would recommend just staying in the last lane. So when you're first driving the RV, you want to stay in a slow lane. You don't want to rush. You want to take your time. You don't want to feel pressure in any way. It's totally normal to feel nervous, especially when you're on a highway. But the nervousness dissipates about after an hour, once you get used to actually what it feels like to drive it, and getting used to the American road system and the American signs and everything. So yeah, just have this mindset, don't rush, go at your own pace, don't feel pressured. Don't put time constraints on yourself, even if you haven't got very long to do the road trip, because that stress and pressure has caused accidents where people have left the dealership or left the gas station and they've kind of like knocked something in the back. Like, that's very, very common. That's what the people at the dealership told us. So just take your time. Another thing people worry about is how they will sleep, if they will sleep. And as someone who is a very light sleeper, I slept just fine. The main difference is whether you sleep in a RV camp, which is super quiet. You're not even allowed to make noise after like 10 p.m. usually. Or if you boondock, so you're sleeping in a public place like a car park, a truck stop, out somewhere in the wild, then it can be a little bit noisier and it might be harder to sleep, especially if you're on a main road. I found that difficult. But if you're planning to only stay in RV parks and not boondock, or stay there the majority of the time, then you'll be totally fine. People also worry about the safety of staying in an RV. So obviously you lock the RV at night when you sleep and you have all your valuables in there. When I used to go out and somewhere felt a bit dodgy, I would always take my passport, any jewelry, any valuables to have on me. But most of the time, like, it totally felt fine to keep everything in there. We didn't get robbed. Nothing happened to us. We had it for 3 months and we didn't really feel unsafe. What surprised me the most was how cozy RV life is. It was really great just having to unpack one time, putting everything away, and then you don't have to like unpack and repack, if you're staying in hotels or motels. I mean, there is an element that would be really cool to stay in some of these quirky motels. But when you have the RV, you're only doing that one time and then you don't have to worry about it until you leave. So that's one great thing about it. I would say the RV travel is perfect for couples. It's perfect for solo travelers. It doesn't really matter what age you are, but I would say that it's quite difficult to take very small kids, babies with you. I didn't really see many people with small children, only in RV camps where they were actually like staying there for a week on holiday, and they had a car that they were towing so that they could like drive off to other places with ease, because most of the time there will be issues with taking the RV like everywhere. Like it can be difficult sometimes in cities and certain national and state parks. You can't drive wherever you want. You don't really have to be adventurous or outdoorsy. I am, but I think that helps you to get used to it quicker maybe. But the fact that you have, you know, all your kind of home comforts there, well, not all of them, but you know what I mean? Like you have the kitchen, you have your bed, you have like a little dining chill out area, that can make you adapt quite easily. If you're scared but still tempted, that's a good sign. I would say go for it. So if renting an RV has been sitting in the back of your mind and you've been scared, I hope that this video puts your mind at ease. Feel free to ask me any questions if you want. Like I said, I've been doing this for 3 months, so I feel like I have quite a good amount of experience from doing it as a foreigner. I will be sharing more videos on my experience. I have lots of shorts, and also I'll be doing informational videos. I want to do a video detailing all the costs. So how much it was to rent, how much the insurance was, the gas, the RV parks. What I will say is that it's not cheap. I went into this thinking that RVing would be super cheap, but it really isn't. I mean, all the people that I met at RV parks, they tended to be more on the kind of wealthy side. It does add up very quickly. So if you want to do an RV trip in America, I would recommend saving a good amount of money first, because you will have to pay not only for gas, you will have to pay for stuff for the RV, like it to kit out the RV inside, then obviously the fees to park anywhere if you're not boondocking. And then we had a very good insurance, because anything can happen and you don't want to have to pay for damages and repairs. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go into that, so I'll make a separate video. If you guys found this useful, please throw me a like and a follow. Thanks for watching.